So welcome back to Stu Structures. I am Mark Stewart, and we're here to start building the Belington Ice House. It's what we went through in the last video to show you how I came up with the dimensions and what I needed for materials. So now that the material's in, we're going to start building, so stay tuned. Okay, so we are going to start building the Belington Ice House. This is a nice structure. I've been looking forward to building this. You know, and going through it, once I've got the materials here laying in front of me and looking at my drawings and stuff, I'm probably going to have to improvise on some of my measurements and things a little bit from the original numbers I came up with when I figured this out on the computer screen. But we're going to start into this and just start building this and see how far we get in this video. Let's just jump into this. Now, the first thing we're going to build is all three of the main structures, and we're going to start off with this building, a three-story building here on this end. And you know, I've got these two shots that show most of the windows and stuff. This backside really doesn't show very well in this, and we have lettering on the one wall. So I go to that drawing, and you know, the height on this was just a little bit tall once I started laying everything out on wood, so I did reduce the height, but the rest of these drawings work out pretty good. So I get my 1/16 inch clapboard siding wood out to cut all the walls out of. And I'm going to use this for all three of the main structures. And then I cut, you know, the two narrow sides and the tall side. And the sheets aren't tall enough to do 3 stories, so I'm going to have to come back and add, you know, some height to all this. But then I just start laying out all the windows and everything, and doors in the wood, and start cutting those out. And test fitting all the windows and doors to make sure the openings are the right size before I start gluing things together and doing all that. And go ahead and work with all 4 sides and get the tops and bottoms of all these together. Now, to glue the sides together, I'm just going to use this square stock that I have here and put corner posts on each of the opposite walls. So I cut those to total height, bringing them down from the top a little bit, because remember, this has a recessed roof that's down about 4 foot. And I glue those to the outside corners of 2 walls and do some center supports up the walls to give them some structure to the, you know, so I can handle them, and pre-paint those white. Now on this one side, before I go any further, I want to go ahead and do some of this lettering on there, because it's going to be harder to do if I come back later. Then I have a lot of this press type laying around from artist projects I did over the years. That's what my degree is in graphic design. So anyway, I come back and just use this press type and burnish this lettering onto this side of the building. Now this isn't exactly like the lettering that was on it, but I didn't really want to buy any more. And then once that was on there, I come back on and put some clear coat across all that, just to make sure the letters don't peel or move around while I'm working with it. Now I go through and find the rest of the doors and the windows. I cut some out just to do test fitting, but I went ahead and found all the rest of the doors and the windows that I need for this project, and I went ahead and taped them down to a board and started hand painting. Now I don't really know the color that was on this building, but I'm using this blue for this building. I think it'll look good, and you know, I just go ahead once they're painted and come back and add them into all 4 of those walls. And building A, the walls are ready to put together at this point. So we're moving on to building B with all the big vents across the top of it. And you know, I do have these 2 pictures here. Now the siding that I'm going to cut out for this doesn't go all the way to the ground on this one, so I need the same amount of height that I had in the other structure. So I'm going to reduce this height a little bit, but all the other measurements will stay the same. And I cut out the tops of those walls for all 4 walls and lay out the vents and the couple of windows and door. And that one eave does have a square window in the top of it. And then I go ahead and cut all those openings out, and you know, then I'm going to come back and spray paint those once these are all cut and in place. Now on 3 sides, the roof slopes down, so there may be a little more of it exposed, so I'm adding these pieces to the bottom of 3 sides, and then I use that same square stock and some other scrap pieces of wood just to go ahead and get the walls all glued together, and then come back and put some white paint on them and just add the couple of windows and the door that are in this structure and go ahead and glue those in place. Now the vents will come back and visit with later on. Now, you know, this third building, this cold storage building here, is an odd building. When I drew it, you know, I made this just a little bit narrow on my original drawing. So I did upgrade this and make it just a little bit wider when I started cutting wood for this. And I cut all these pieces here out of the siding. Now there is one more piece that one story comes up and meets on that left hand side that's just going to be plain balsa wood, but I don't need to waste my siding for that. And all these buildings just get tons and tons of 1x6 trim. Now I'm probably going to need more than this, but I just go ahead and start painting a bunch of that to get it out of the way. And for the vents, you know, I need pieces on either sides of those openings for the slats in the vents to set in. So I use this real thick for sale sign and cut a bunch of 1 foot wide strips. And then I cut all those strips to the heights of those openings and make 2 for every one of those openings. And then I measure one side of those to 6 inches on center in HO scale, and make a straight cut into it and then an angle cut from the bottom of one to the top of the other one, and just create these angles that the 1x6s will set back in later on in time. Okay, so there you have video 2 in this segment of building the Belington Ice House. You know, I got a good little ways in this video. I've got a lot going on in my personal life right now. I'm trying to get back to work, and you know, I haven't taken care of any of my clients in 3 months, so I've got a lot of catch up to do. And the nursery as well. You know, it's getting to the hot, dry time of the year, so there's a lot of work with watering and various stuff that has to be done in the nursery. So in any case, with all that said, it's kind of limiting my time as to how much I can build per week on these to make these videos. So I'm going to try to continue to put out a video every week. I'm not sure how long they're going to be. I like to do 15-minute videos because they're quick, simple, and easy. That's what I like to watch, you know, 15 minutes to a half an hour. After that, my mind wanders and I lose my concentration. So that's what I'm putting out there for you all. I hope that's all right. But in any case, you know, I also do several builds at the same time, and I was working on 2 other builds before I started this one. I'm not going to put them out for a while, but you know, I do a little bit on them here and there when I find I need glue to set up or paint to dry or something like that on the building I'm working on. And I'm also starting a build for Sparky 107. Most of you know his channel that watch my channel, but if you don't, go check out his YouTube channel. He's very good, and you know, he does a lot for the people in this YouTube community as far as the people of us out here that make videos. And he's done a lot for me to help me get started a few years ago, and you know, recently also helped me out when I got you know, behind a rock in a hard place. In any case, I jokingly one night asked him if he could, if I could build his house for him or something like that. Now, it really wasn't a joke. I didn't know if he'd jump on it or not or what. But the more I thought about it, the more I really wanted to do that for Sparky. So anyway, after prodding him a little bit, he sent me a bunch of pictures of his house, and I've ordered materials and they're starting to come in, so I'm going to be starting to work on that build while I do this. And once this build's finished, I'll be putting up the videos from that build as well. But anyway, it takes a little bit of time to do that too, so all that said, that's why my videos may be a little shorter for the next few weeks until I get caught up with work and everything. So anyway, I do appreciate you coming back and sharing this time with me. For those of you that stuck this out, keep tuned, because I am going to do a 500 video, 500 subscriber contest here real soon. And you know, I've got some people that are going to help me out as far as manufacturers and stuff like that. So you know, I should have some fairly decent prizes. I don't have a lot of money and can't do a lot, but I wanted to show my appreciation for you guys that come back and watch these videos every week. So in any case, thank you for coming back and sharing this time. Subscribe to my channel if you're not, and keep an eye out what's coming up in the future, and learn to build some buildings. And that's what it's all about, just the sharing of information and some time amongst friends. And the whole point to all this is happy model railroading.